11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
It's prime time, coming up just days after he was released from Emory University Hospital. Former President Jimmy Carter is back in the hospital tonight.
And a Georgia case goes before the U.S. Supreme Court. Why the state is trying to prevent the laws from going online.
And we welcome you to 11Alive News Prime Time on the ATL, the Big 36. I'm Jeff Ellinger.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. We are also streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel.
Let's give you an update now. We begin tonight with former President Jimmy Carter. He's back in the hospital. The Carter Center confirms he was admitted to Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus over the weekend as he battles a urinary tract infection. President Carter is 95. You'll remember he was released from Emory just last week. He had a successful surgery to relieve a brain bleed caused by a series of recent falls.
Now, the Carter Center has released information about this, saying that President Carter is feeling better and looks forward to returning home soon. He had hoped to return to teaching Sunday school at his home church in Plains, Georgia this Sunday, but according to the Marathon Baptist Church website, he is not expected to teach on neither December 8th nor December 22nd. We'll, of course, keep you updated on his condition on the 11Alive app.
An internal City of Atlanta report shows that 19 homeless people have died from hypothermia in the 2-year period between January of 2017 and 2019.
The majority, 18 of those, died after Peachtree Pine closed its doors just a couple of years ago. Elwin Lopez got a hold of that internal report and joins us now from the newsroom.
Yeah, Jennifer, and this report isn't new. It was submitted to the Deputy COO's office in April, and yet the city is still struggling to find a solution. Peachtree Pine Shelter was Atlanta's largest homeless shelter, and it closed down in 2017 after years of politics and lawsuits. It was considered a low-barrier shelter with 800 beds. Now, I spoke to council member Antonio Brown today, who says he read the internal report and agrees that more needs to be done to address the issue.
This is bound to happen. This will continue to happen until we can address this problem and come up with a permanent solution around the issue of deaths within homelessness, within hypothermia that homeless folks face every day that they're on the streets in the cold.
And it's expected to be a cold one tonight. Another important thing this report pointed out was that these deaths occurred as early as the end of October. The report suggesting that outreach to homeless individuals on the likelihood of freezing to death in November is crucial.
Now to another big developing story. Reports tonight that Governor Kemp will announce his choice for Georgia's U.S. Senate on Wednesday. Sources say that businesswoman Kelly Loeffler is his pick for senior Senator Johnny Isakson's seat. Now, while she may be unknown to voters, Loeffler has been a very active donor to Republican and a few Democratic causes as well. But Governor Kemp would be appointing her over objections from some conservative Republicans. Doug Richards has more on Loeffler's background.
Her public face is that of an owner of Atlanta's professional women's basketball team. Kelly Loeffler's political face is backstage in 144 donations listed on the Federal Election Commission's website. More than $600,000 just since the start of last year, almost all of them to Republican causes. After growing up on a family farm in Illinois, Loeffler's career in the financial industry appeared to take off after she got a job at a company called Intercontinental Exchange. Then she married its CEO, Jeff Sprecher. In 2013, Sprecher's company bought the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. Wallmine.com now lists Sprecher's net worth at least $500 million, which means, as a politician, his wife Loeffler may have the means to finance a statewide election.
If you can kickstart your own campaign by putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, then you're one step ahead.
Just ask a millionaire candidate turned Senator David Perdue. Kelly Loeffler became co-owner of the WNBA Atlanta Dream. This photo of Loeffler and Democrat Stacey Abrams has been making the rounds because the team reportedly employed Abrams' law firm. And Loeffler's campaign contributions have included Georgia Democrats, Congressman David Scott, former Congressman Jim Marshall, former Congressman John Barrow, plus from Iowa, Democratic former U.S. Senator Tom Harkin.
I don't think it's an ideological thing. I think they look at it as a business transaction.
Former state representative Doug Teeper says wealthy political donors are frequently at least a little bipartisan.
You should not be surprised to see that she gave money to Democrats as well, just like President Trump did for many years.
And today, some conservatives from inside and outside of the state have been going after Governor Kemp on social media for planning to name Loeffler to the Senate seat. Many others have come to his defense as a formal announcement looms somewhere in the middle of the week. Senator Johnny Isakson will deliver his farewell address from the Senate floor tomorrow. Afterward, Georgia Senator David Perdue and other lawmakers will honor Senator Isakson's decades of public service. We will share highlights with you tomorrow at 6 on 11Alive, and you'll be able to watch the full tribute on our 11Alive YouTube page.
Glowing tributes and heartfelt goodbyes. Sorrow and celebration filled the church as hundreds remembered Almond Turner. He was a former assistant police chief, a deacon, a school board member, and a husband and a father. And he was allegedly murdered at the hands of his nephew. Turner was a staple in his community, dedicating 45 years of service to Newton County. He was the highest-ranking African-American on the Covington Police Force. And during today's funeral services at Springfield Baptist Church in Conyers, it was clear he made a lasting impact on those around him.
We lay to rest a giant of a man, a giant of a community leader, a giant of a father, a giant of a husband, a giant of a brother. And there will never be another Almond James Turner.
In his almost 70 years, Almond has made a profound impact on so many lives.
We love him so much and couldn't have asked or even dreamed about a better grandfather to us. He did so much for us, and he was our rock. He was our superhero.
Turner leaves behind his wife, 3 kids, and several grandchildren. His nephew is now facing murder charges. Christopher Denson is accused of shooting and killing Turner at a family event in Mississippi following an argument.
Coming up, the state is trying to keep its laws off the internet. Today, this case went before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Well, just look at the cold air in place that we have out there right now. That colder air is going to be with us tonight, and then warmer air starts to move our way. I'll let you know if that means rain will come with it.
And don't forget, we are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. We've got more 11Alive news and primetime up after the break.
Today, the justices of the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments from the state of Georgia and from a man who dared to publish Georgia's law books online, all of it for free.
The General Assembly told the Supreme Court the state's law books are protected by federal copyright, but the defendant argued that the law is owned by all of us.
And the Reveal's chief investigator, Brendan Keefe, was one of the first to report this copyright fight in this Reveal investigation.
These are the Georgians who make the law, but do they own it? The General Assembly is suing this man in federal court because he dared to publish all 50 volumes of Georgia law online for free.
America is based on the idea of an informed citizenry because ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you don't know what the law is, you can't obey it, but also you can't change it.
Carl Malamud's publicresource.org is the defendant in the copyright infringement lawsuit filed by the General Assembly.
In America, the law isn't owned by governments, it's owned by the people, because it's the people that give authority to the government to operate. The people own copyright on the law.
These 50 volumes make up the OCGA, the official Code of Georgia Annotated. The state's official law books contain all the legislative acts, plus public court cases and attorney general opinions. Lawmakers claim putting those annotations together amounts to a creative work, one the state has copyrighted.
There's only one law in Georgia. It's the official Code of Georgia Annotated. Every act in the Georgia Assembly begins an act to amend the official Code of Georgia Annotated.
The 11Alive investigators asked to inspect the law books under a measure contained within them, Georgia's Open Records Act. The Legislative Council denied our request, suggesting the law is available at many libraries. We had trouble finding the law at 3 local branches, including the Central Library in Georgia's capital city. There's a set at the Public Law Library directly across from the state capitol, but cameras aren't allowed inside without an order signed by a judge. Atlanta's main library keeps its copies out of sight in a back room, where we had to request special access to photograph the volumes, some 6 years out of date.
It just doesn't make sense in an internet era to say you need to travel 30 miles to the county seat to look at the 50 volumes of paper, and that somehow is making the law accessible to you. It isn't.
The Legislative Council wrote we could purchase the law for $378 like anyone else, but warned us not to publish Georgia laws on 11alive.com. The OCGA is, quote, copyrighted by the state of Georgia and shall not be republished without permission. No such permission is granted here.
That response reflects every attempt we've made to get documents from state legislators. Transparency means we get to see government documents from every agency, from the dog catcher to the governor. But the Legislative Council always replies, your request is denied. A lack of transparency that allows the legislature to do deals under the table because you and I aren't allowed to see the documents. Were you aware the General Assembly is exempt from the Open Records Act?
I was not, no.
Were you aware that the General Assembly is exempt from the Open Records Act?
I did not know that.
But ask to see any documents from a legislator and you'll hear from their lawyer, a lawyer you're paying. That's right, your taxes pay the Legislative Council $125,000 a year so he can turn around and deny your request to see the people's records.
What is this about? About transparency, like open records, things like that.
I'd rather not. Part of my concern is I'm a governor's floor leader, and so I don't want to. I want to make sure that I'm answering questions consistent with what the administration would want me to, and since I don't know what the question, if you want to give me the questions, I'll be happy to.
So you want the questions in advance?
Here's how lawmakers avoid questions about their documents. The General Assembly is not an agency under its own Open Records Act. The legislature let itself off on a technicality, one few lawmakers are interested in fixing.
If it ever came up for a vote that the General Assembly would be subject to the Open Records Act, would you be in favor of that?
I just have to look at the legislation. You know, the devil is in the details.
If you'll just give me the...
Just want to ask you about transparency in general.
If you want to give me the topic matter, I'll be glad to. Unfortunately, I got to run in here as well.
Authored to be full transparency, especially when it comes to the people who elected you?
You know, I think you got a fine line there. I don't have an easy answer for that.
Neither does the Legislative Council. All communications between this office and lawmakers records are confidential by state law.
Exactly what you're taking a picture for.
This is a public building, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they saw our cameras, Legislative Council staff was sure to draw the blinds to prevent the public from seeing the keeper and defender of the legislature's secrets.
It's the people that own the law. And it's the people that own the legislature. We are all servants of the people when we are in public service, and we just can't forget that.
Brendan and 11Alive filed a friend of the court brief with the U.S. Supreme Court, arguing that the law is not as accessible as the state of Georgia claims it is. The Supreme Court is expected to make a ruling in this case by the spring.
Well, I am just loving some of these pictures that have been sent in by our 11Alive community storm trackers. Up in North Georgia this morning, some folks woke up to snow. We were talking about that last week and through the weekend to expect that in some areas early this morning. Scott Anna up in Union County got a great shot of the snow there in the trees, and even a red cardinal right there waiting to maybe go inside of its birdhouse. But a beautiful picture there from Scott Anna. Also, 11Alive community storm tracker Jill Davies in Blairsville got a shot of some of the snow on the trees as well as on the rooftop there. And then look at this from Rosemary Wilmot in the Cohutta Mountains, that's north and west of the Blue Ridge area. She even got some of the snowflakes as they were coming down and just some of those light accumulations there in the woods and on the roads. This was a really low impact event. It didn't cause any major problems or anything, but it was just pretty to wake up to this morning in those higher elevations of North Georgia. Now, we're still dealing with some winds. The winds were very blustery out there today. This is a look at our forecast track through the overnight hours. We're going to see by 10 o'clock lower wind speeds. We're talking maybe 8 to 12 mile an hour winds later on tonight, and then overnight and in the morning when the kids are headed out to school. It's going to be cold, temperatures around freezing, but those winds are going to be around 8 to 12 miles an hour. They'll start settling down a little bit more during the afternoon hours tomorrow, so not as blustery tomorrow as it was out there today. Now look at these temperatures through the later evening hours. We're going to be falling into those upper 30s here by 10 o'clock, around 37 degrees. And then here we go tomorrow morning, starting off with temperatures around 32 degrees. I do think temperatures in most areas will at least be at freezing or below. I think Athens, you might be just above freezing at 33, but everybody else pretty much at or below freezing, even some 20s in Blairsville. And with that breeze, it's going to feel even cooler to start your day on Tuesday. So in town, I'm going for a low of 32, but outside the city, I think it'll be a little bit cooler. We'll have some sunshine at times mixing in with a few clouds, but those clouds won't have any rain with them. And then we get up to 51 degrees for a high temperature. Now take a look at this through the overnight hours. By tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies. We'll have just a couple of clouds that will mix in at times during the day. Temperatures very comfortable in those lower 50s, cooler than where we should be for this time of year. Then heading into Wednesday, not a lot of weather features showing up here. I do think we'll be above freezing Wednesday morning, and then by afternoon, getting back up into those mid and upper 50s and dry until the end of the week. Look at this. By Friday, we're going to see some scattered showers, but I want you to see here, the bulk of the rain, the heaviest stuff is going to stay down to the south. We'll just have a few hit and miss showers here in our area on Friday, so it's not going to be a washout for the Canathon, just a few of those scattered showers. 51 for a high Tuesday, 58 Wednesday, 61 on Thursday with mostly sunny skies. There you see those few showers on Friday, a dry day on Saturday, and then on Sunday and Monday, rain chances late Sunday and then into the day on Monday with high temperatures warming back up to 64.
Well, we are all looking forward to the SEC championship game. It is going to be great. LSU and Georgia, and Kirby Smart doesn't even have to bother to try and use any kind of coach speak when he talks about LSU's quarterback, the sort of Heisman-elect Joe Burrow. He praises him every opportunity he gets. Maria Martin is with our UGA insider Roddy Nabulsi to get the scoop on how the Dogs are preparing to stop him.
So to quote Kirby Smart, he said, on to the big one, the SEC championship this week. Roddy Nabulsi alongside me, and this is the big one. LSU is perhaps the best team that Georgia has faced to this point, the most complete team, I would say. What does Georgia need to do on Saturday?
Hope Joe Burrow gets food poisoning would be a good start. Maybe the flu, nothing too drastic, nothing too bad, but something to keep him out of, keep him in the hotel room for about 48 hours. Now, what they need to do is they need to get a couple wide receivers to step up. Georgia's offense has to score. Whoever scores touchdowns, not field goals, is going to win this game.
And whoever doesn't make mistakes, too, I think will be a key in this one. One thing that's really important for Georgia is they've got so many issues on offense in terms of suspensions and guys that are out. They have to get creative on Saturday. How confident are we that they'll be able to mix some new guys in there?
You know, it's actually been one of the theories all year long is that Georgia's holding back. Georgia's holding back until the big game. Well, if Georgia had it, they'd have used it against Texas A&M, they used it against Florida. I'm not saying they don't. They do have some things. People that think that James Coley is predictable, that's garbage. He's not predictable because he can run any sort of thing you want. What they've done in the last 3 or 4 games, we've seen new plays. We've seen new schemes. We've seen new personnel groupings. What we haven't seen is execution of those new concepts.
Roddy, thank you so much.
More preteens are getting surgery to fix serious knee injuries. Up next, we are talking to our medical correspondent, Dr. Sujatha Reddy, about prevention and why young girls are at a higher risk.
And we are 4 days away from an 11Alive tradition, the one and only Can-a-thon. Each year, over the decades, we team up with the Salvation Army to help raise money for Georgia families in need by collecting canned food. You can help us on Friday. Come visit me and Cheryl. We will be at the Woodruff Arts Center, and we're looking forward to that. You can go to 11alive.com/Can-a-thon for a list of all the locations.
More preteen girls are being sent to the hospital with ACL injuries. NBC News reports that in 9 years, the number of ACL surgeries in girls 12 and under rose 140%. Our Cheryl Preheim spoke with 11Alive medical correspondent Dr. Sujatha Reddy about this concerning study.
Really a concern to have these kind of injuries at such a young age. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we think we're seeing more injuries because kids are doing sports at a much younger age, and commonly we're seeing them play one sport the entire year between school and then, club practice or intramural practice. They're playing the same sport all year long. And what we've listed here now are the symptoms of what commonly is an ACL, or the anterior cruciate ligament tear. You can hear a popping sound. It can be serious pain. You can feel like you can't move that knee. You can get swelling very quickly, and the person will feel like their knee is weak or unstable.
Okay, all right. This can happen from something that might seemingly feel like not a big deal.
You're exactly right. And think about all the sports your children play. There are sudden stops. There can be rapid changes in direction, like in tennis or soccer. And then if they jump and land, and the way girls tend to land because their hips are different, they're more prone to hurting their knees. So these are all things that can make someone more prone to tearing the ACL.
Is there something about that young girls, as they develop, that makes it more susceptible for them?
Yeah, we actually think there is. They actually have differences in anatomy. The hips are different in boys and girls. Their quads tend to not be as well developed as in boys, and hormones may play into it. But as you and I were talking, and you mentioned, it's actually better to play different sports to train the different muscles.
It's cross-training your body and learning different skills, but there's so much pressure. I think sometimes parents feel like they have to pick one sport, and then really from the age of being able to play it, trying to earn a scholarship or make that the one and only area of emphasis.
Right, and instead of doing like a lot of things, you focus on one thing, and we can understand that, but what we're seeing is perhaps we're doing this too intently. Take breaks, rest, don't play every single day of the whole year. Change it up with different sports. Even if one is your focus, have other sports to help you strengthen muscles. There's a way to avoid this. I think this is just something for parents to pay attention to.
Okay, really good advice. Thank you, Dr. Reddy.
Coming up, a DJ who frequently worked at Metro Atlanta schools, now accused of molestation.
New tonight, Atlanta City Council voted to ban single-use plastics in city buildings.
And that includes the world's busiest airport. Elwin Lopez was at the city council meeting today. Elwin?
Yeah, and Jeff, Jennifer, you know, that means that we might be seeing a lot more paper straws in our future here. Council member Amir Faroqi spearheaded the bill and argued that city buildings are major consumers of these harmful products. Faroqi says this is a major step forward for Atlanta, but feels there's still room for improvement. Now, the council member told us previously that before asking private companies to make changes, it first had to start with the city. The legislation passed unanimously today with 11 co-sponsors. It now heads to Mayor Bottom's desk for her signature, and if she signs it, the ban will go into effect December of next year. Jennifer?
Elwin, thank you. There are a lot of concerned parents tonight after a man who interacted with children at various schools and skating rinks was arrested for child molestation. Malcolm Rhodes was a DJ and youth outreach coordinator in Henry and Coweta counties. He's only facing charges in one case so far, but Henry County Police told our Caitlin Ross that they are now re-examining his contact with children everywhere he worked.
Henry County Schools and the Starlight Skate Park where he was employed both told me they had no idea about any of the allegations against Malcolm Rhodes until he was arrested this month. He's accused of sexual battery against a 15-year-old boy. Online, his professional pages checked into dozens of elementary and middle schools in Coweta and Henry counties. His page shows he DJ'd field trips and pool parties, advertising a nighttime glow party for kids under 16. He also reportedly worked with church groups and at least one Cub Scout pack. Parents whose children have interacted with him say they're on edge tonight, trying to address this with their children.
I was completely disgusted. I mean, we're talking about a group of maybe 75 6- and 7-year-olds playing with them and interacting with them.
So far, police say there have been no additional charges, but they're still fielding calls from parents tonight, trying to determine if there are more alleged victims. He is in jail without bond. His next court date is December 19th. If you want to speak with the detective on the case, we put his number on our website, 11alive.com.
New tonight, a search is underway for a man accused of murder, and that tops your speed feed on this Monday night. Right now, Gwinnett County Police are trying to find Heriberto Villanueva. He is accused of shooting and killing a man at a home on Barnaby Court in unincorporated Lilburn on Friday. If you've seen anything, you're asked to call police. A man in Duluth charged with killing his 9-week-old daughter. Police say that Khalik Woods told him he was grabbing and throwing the child into the air when he noticed she was not responsive. He took her to Northside Hospital, where doctors determined she had died. Police say the doctors noticed the child had suffered significant bruising. And you could be sitting on a lot of big dollars. A Powerball ticket worth $50,000 was sold at a Kroger in Lilburn. Nobody has claimed it. Could it be you? Could it be a way to finally afford Christmas? It was purchased at the store on Highway 29. The winner has 180 days to cash in. We posted the numbers on 11alive.com. I'm looking through my wallet right now.
Well, police are asking for you to be on alert after a woman says an armed man tried to abduct her near a shopping center. DeKalb County officers are still looking for that man tonight. Our Joe Henke explains what happened.
The victim in this story says last week she picked up food to go from a restaurant near Decatur. She then walked out of the restaurant and got back into her car. That's when, according to a DeKalb County police report, a man jumped in the passenger seat of the woman's car. He pointed a gun at her, started making demands. The woman told police it happened outside of Bad Daddy's Burger Bar off Church Street in a busy shopping center parking lot across the street from Emory Decatur Hospital. The woman says she left Bad Daddy's shortly after 9 p.m. last Monday. In her police report, she described the man as pointing a black rifle at her and saying, "Drive, drive." The woman quickly jumped out of her car, dropped her phone while running, and asked someone to call 911 as the man drove off in another car. Captain A.W. Ford with DeKalb County Police says the crime stands out.
No, this is a very isolated incident. Reports we have that the male was probably intoxicated. We've got no similar crimes. We have no similar abductions. We have no stranger-to-stranger kidnapping.
The woman could only give a vague description of the man who attacked her and remembered him driving off in a gray four-door car. A local news website reported a second similar incident at another nearby shopping center, but police believe that second incident was not an attempted abduction.
About 20 minutes later, He was about half a mile up the road. A person we believe to be the same suspect was a half a mile up the road, asked someone to roll down their window. When they rolled down their window slightly, he asked to borrow a cell phone.
Tonight, DeKalb police are still searching the area for security video of the attacker and asking holiday shoppers to be aware in busy parking lots.
Pay attention to your surroundings, know who's around you, and let someone, a family member or friend, know where you're at.
Today, a judge dropped a number of charges against two college athletes accused in a violent robbery, but their case is still moving forward. Lauren Riley and Lindsay Kalish play lacrosse for Life University in Cobb County. Today, the lead investigator in the case testified the women tipped off two men about a deal. They said there would be drugs and cash at a party last month at a Fulton County Airbnb. The men then allegedly showed up with guns. They started beating up two of the victims and then stealing a laptop and phones and some shoes and some other stuff. The detective testified the women were asking for a cut of what the men stole.
There were text messages after the incident in which both of them were still saying, hey, make sure you ask. And at this point, there were two names that were included, Rick and Baby Slat. Make sure you keep asking them about the money.
The judge dropped charges of burglary, gang involvement, and use of a gun to commit a felony. But Riley and Kalish are still accused of assault, armed robbery, and home invasion. The judge denied bond.
Today, the city of Atlanta unveiled its newest voting machines to the public. In July, Georgia entered into a contract to acquire new voting machines with touchscreens. You select a candidate on the computer screen, and then the machine prints out paper ballots showing your choices, which can be scanned. The new system should be in place for March's presidential primaries.
Georgia's fourth largest county has a new sheriff. Sheriff Melody Maddox is the first woman to hold the position in DeKalb County. Maddox was sworn in on Sunday as the county's 50th sheriff. A graduate of Morris Brown, she has been in law enforcement for 23 years. Sheriff Maddox was appointed in July to fill the position of Jeffrey Mann, who retired in June. He was charged with exposing himself at Piedmont Park. He took a plea deal. About 750,000 people live in DeKalb County. Sheriff Maddox will face an immediate challenge of working to bring down this year's record homicide rate. So far in DeKalb, there have been 121 murders this year. DeKalb has said it will be a priority to address that number. The Supreme Court took up gun rights today for the first time in nearly a decade. Next, the case that could have major implications for people nationwide.
It is dry and cool out there right now, but we're looking out to the west because we're tracking the next system that'll move our way. Stay with us. I'll put a timeline on when you'll see the best chances for rain.
And don't forget, we are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe. You can join the conversation there in the community section. More 11Alive news in prime time coming up after the break.
For the first time in a decade, the Supreme Court is wading into the debate over gun control.
But after oral arguments today, it's unclear whether there's much of a case left for the justices to settle. NBC's Chris Pallone explains.
What do we want? When do we want it? Advocates for new gun control laws made their voices heard outside the Supreme Court, but inside the court, justices seemed unsure whether there's anything left for them to decide. At issue, an old New York City law which placed restrictions on where people with certain gun permits could bring their weapons. The city has since changed the law, apparently looking to avoid the High Court's intervention, and spurring Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg to ask what's left of this case.
New York City and New York State actually gave them everything that they had asked for before this argument. That was made very plain in this argument today. The case is moot.
But lawyers for gun owners who filed the lawsuit against the city urged the court to rule on its merits anyway, arguing there are still issues regarding gun laws for the court to settle.
Up until the point that the Supreme Court granted certiorari in this case, the city of New York had resisted their efforts to vindicate their rights at every turn.
That's a worst-case scenario for gun control advocates who fear the court's new conservative majority is looking to weaken state and local gun laws.
My concern is with the very conservative bench that we have now, they're going to use every opportunity they can to broadly interpret the Second Amendment as something that has no restrictions.
The court will issue its decision by the end of June.
Package Patty trending online after an alleged case of racial profiling that reportedly happened somewhere in Atlanta. A man identifying himself as a UPS employee shared video of what happened online. It shows a woman demanding his name because she says he looks suspicious walking around with the packages on her street.
Because I don't understand why you're walking around this neighborhood.
This is crazy.
With a bunch of packages.
A black man delivering packages in Atlanta says he was stopped by a woman who said he looked suspicious.
I want to complain to UPS that you're looking very suspicious and making me nervous.
So far, that woman has not been identified, so we've blurred her face. But in videos posted online, the man says he works for UPS and shows what looks like a company uniform and a dolly with several packages. In the video, the woman explains her actions, telling the man her car had been broken into twice and that there had been vandalism on the street. She asks for his name, but he refuses, saying this is an example of people bothering him on the job. He says the woman was recording him and taking pictures as well. You can hear the woman in the video says she'll follow him until she gets in touch with UPS and later claims she'd called the police. A different clip later shows a white man also dressed as a UPS employee who tries to explain to the woman that the man recording is a fellow UPS worker. We reached out to UPS and a spokesperson sent us a short statement saying we are aware of the video and are investigating the incident. We'll defer comment until we are able to talk with the involved parties. We reached out to the man involved. He told us he did not want to do an interview. We'll keep you updated if and when we learn anything more about what happened.
Well, what'd you think of those chilly temperatures out there today and that wind that we had? We topped off at 48 degrees. That high temperature was actually just after midnight. But during the afternoon hours, our high was right around 45. So, we pretty much held in those mid and upper 40s today, starting off this morning at 41. So the 41-degree temperature was a little bit above average. We should be at 39 for this time of year. But our high today was 10 degrees below average. We should be at 58 degrees for this time of year. And once again, we didn't receive any rain. And we really need some rain to come in here to help us out with our deficit because that deficit is growing. We're now about 7.5 inches below where we should be in rainfall for the year. So here's what we're going to be watching over the next 12 hours. We're going to see those temperatures falling for the rest of the evening hours, and after midnight we'll be in those mid-30s, and by tomorrow morning this model is showing between 6 and 8, 34 degrees, but I do think that in between these 2 hours we'll drop down to 32 degrees for our official low temperature. I do think we'll hit freezing here, and we'll have those freezing temperatures outside the city as well. So here's what we're watching. We do have that colder air that is going to be here with us overnight tonight and in the morning. The good news is it's not going to be as windy. Yeah, we'll still have some breezes early in the morning, but just not as blustery as it was today. I know I'm having a hard time keeping up with the leaves in my yard. We will see warmer air coming in for this week. So here's what we're watching on the wazometer. On our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 9. Low temperature starting off at freezing here in the city, then afternoon highs getting up to 51 degrees. We'll have some sunshine, and that sun will at times mix in with a little bit of rain around. So here's what we're watching later on tonight. You see that freezing line that drops down to the south, so most places will be below, either at or below freezing during the overnight hours. Sunshine to start in the morning hours, and then at lunchtime, mostly sunny skies. There will be a couple of areas that will have a few clouds around, and then pretty much the same thing in the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies on Tuesday. Not worried about any rain moving our way. There'll be a few more clouds late on Tuesday night. Those will fall apart, and on Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be a mostly sunny day. We'll have plenty of sunshine around. Temperatures rebound a little bit on Wednesday. We'll start off with lows around 38, but then by afternoon getting in the mid and upper 50s. But then by the end of the week, that's when the rain is going to move our way. But I want you to see here, in the morning on Friday, we've got the Canathon. There will be a lot of dry areas. There will just be a few scattered showers around. I really think the bulk of the better concentration of rain is going to stay down to the south. We'll just have some scattered showers here. This is in the afternoon. That will move out. Saturday looks dry. And then the daytime hours on Sunday look dry. This is at 4:30. But then these showers arrive late Sunday, and they'll persist into Monday as well. So enjoy the next dry few days as those temperatures gradually warm up. 51 Tuesday, 58 Wednesday, 61 on Thursday, and then just a few scattered showers on Friday. Saturday looking good, dry with highs near 54. And then the daytime hours Sunday are dry. We're up to 58, and then 64 on Monday, but a better chance for some rain.
Thank you. Sports time. Here we go. We're going to move very quickly with our 2-minute drill, starting with what you need to hear. Today, Kirby Smart talking about getting ready for LSU and the SEC Championship in Atlanta.
Does part of you relish the challenge of this, like trying to figure out a way to do something that nobody else has done this year?
I mean, I probably did until about yesterday afternoon. I started watching the tape, and then you realize that there really aren't weaknesses.
There you do it. In the Vince Dooley tradition, just be very careful with that news conference. And he sounds like he's lowering expectations today. Very wise. His team will have to play their very best to beat the LSU Tigers. What a club they are. The Iron Bowl ended in crazy fashion. What a game that was. Thousands of fans rushed the field, but was it worth it? Auburn was fined $250,000 after its fans stormed the field. Was it worth it? Yes, because of the image of these two women getting stuck in the hedges that will live on forever. Mom, come here. I got you. Auburn's third offense. That is why the hefty price. We finish our drill here with some fact-checking. Word was on social media that Washington State head coach Mike Leach had been hired at Ole Miss. Is that true? This was the tweet reporting the news. It looks like it's from a credible reporter. But wait, there are two accounts. Put them side by side. They look exactly the same. It turns out the account on the right used a capital I instead of an L in Rebel to make it look the same. So that's a fake account. Our fact check claims it's not true. Mike Leach is not coming to the SEC. Ever get faked out by any of those accounts? I have once. I am humiliated to admit. Chris Pallone from NBC tweeted at me, goes, Jeff, that's fake. You've been had. I've been had. That's it for our 2-minute sports drill.
All right, folks, you know what time it is. You see your screen. It is time for Monday's edition of the A-Scene. And first up, we are helping you land a role and maybe put some money in your pocket. You want to catch a casting on the hit medical show drama, The Resident. Right now, casting directors are looking for hospital patients, visitors, and families to play extras in a scene. And they're also looking for women and men who portray ethnicity or any ethnicity and appear 18 and up. Now, filming goes down on Tuesday in Conyers, so submit ASAP. All the details for submission are on our members-only Facebook group.
Hey, what's up? Chris Pratt here. How you guys doing? Listen, I started a contest, the winner of which is going to get flown to Atlanta, Georgia with a friend to visit me on the set of The Tomorrow War.
Ooh, how nice would that be, right? That's actor Chris Pratt, as you heard, star of the new Georgia film movie Tomorrow War. He's also the executive producer of the film. Now, he just started a GoFundMe that's raising money for the Brain Treatment Foundation. And get this, if you donate $10, you're entered into a contest that will allow you and a friend to hang out with the cast of Tomorrow War here in Atlanta and even eat lunch with Chris Pratt, and you can even yell action on set. How cool is that? Action, right? So just head on over to GFM 11alive.co/Tomorrow War. We've already put the link up for you on 11alive.com/the scene. And hey, while you're there, you know what to do. Head on over to the What's Filming section, click on it, and see what's filming in your neck of the woods. And you know what? If you see any celebrities in town, use the hashtag the scene right after you snap that selfie.
I'm just trying to get you to let me on.
Well, here we go. Millennials, get ready. The Millennium Tour is coming to Atlanta. Help me out with this.
Omarion
And Bow Wow are teaming up for another throwback tour. They will be performing at the State Farm Arena April 10th. It looks like they are ready to go. What's up? What's up with a handful of other popular 2000 artists? Tickets go on sale December 6th if you are ready for the Millennium Tour.
Right deflection, stopped by Huska. Rebound, they score! It's Teddy Bear toss time! Here they come!
What a moment in Hershey, Pennsylvania, after the Bears scored their first goal. Stuffed animals rained down onto the ice. It's an annual charity held by the organization, but this year's was one for the record books. More than 45,000 stuffed animals were counted. The toys will be donated to about 40 local charity organizations for at-risk youth during the holidays. It's a sport tradition that is loved by fans nationwide. That looks so cool.
It does.
Well, still ahead, he scammed a woman out of $80,000, but now he's the one paying the price. A man paying the price for online romance, a scheme though. John Martin Hill will serve 7 years in prison for conning a woman out of her life savings, $80,000. Gwinnett County Police say Hill found the woman on Match.com, convinced her they were going to get married, and then took her money and ran. Apparently, he convinced her he was a millionaire and then scammed her out of thousands. Detectives believe he's pulled this scam a bunch of times. Hill was arrested in Tennessee back in June and was extradited to Georgia, where he pled guilty to theft and perjury charges. Next week, the trial for the wrongful death of a TV stuntman begins in Gwinnett County. 33-year-old John Bernecker fell to his death on the set of The Walking Dead in July of 2017. His mother is suing AMC Networks, the production company, Stalwart Films, and the actor who Bernecker was portraying when he fell. Jury selection begins on Monday.
MARTA has parted ways with its chief financial officer, the man once credited with helping turn the transit authority around. Gordon Hutchinson was a key member of MARTA's restructuring team. Our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle also reported he was a finalist for Nonprofit CFO of the Year in 2016. But according to the AJC, Hutchinson had multiple harassment complaints against him. In a statement, MARTA officials told us Hutchinson was relieved of his duties on October 3rd, saying, quote, "It was determined his continued employment was not in the best interest of MARTA," end quote.
Well, coming up, Georgia faces its biggest test yet this weekend. What a victory in this key match could mean for the Dogs' head coach.
So much on the line for the Georgia Bulldogs when they face LSU on Saturday. This alum is fired up and ready to go. If you could wear a helmet, you would.
Well, I don't know about all that. But I'll be cheering on the sidelines. For Coach Kirby Smart, though, all of this preparation and a victory could mean the kind of bonuses that are hard to imagine, which includes a lot of cash. Cheryl Preheim explains the dollars.
According to the terms of his contract, Kirby Smart already earned a bonus of $100,000 for getting to the Benz on Saturday. If the Dogs win, he'll pick up another $125,000. And there's more. Coach Smart will earn an additional $250,000 if UGA reaches the college football playoffs. And if the team makes it to the national championship game, that goes up to $500,000. If the Dogs take the title, the head coach takes home $700,000. Add all of the bonuses together, Kirby Smart's grand total would be $925,000.
All right, so keep in mind, under his reworked contract, Kirby Smart's base salary is more than $6.5 million. That's before bonuses.
So the news here is that Kirby Smart will be making his utility bill in January.
One way or the other. I'm sure he is. Hopefully, though. I mean, I'm rooting for him to get the money because I want the Dogs to win. I want us to go all the way.
Yeah, success is its own best reward.
All right, so Ron and Aisha over here looking at us. They've been hearing me talk about the dogs for quite some time now. What are y'all thinking about this cash bonus money?
I think Uncle Kirby can add me to his Christmas list. Yeah, I'm going to send him my Christmas list. I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely. You know, he's worth it. I think he's worth every single penny. He's done a lot for the dogs and bringing them to this point and beyond what Alabama's doing this year, right?
Uh-oh, shots fired.
Oh, right. Ron Jones really getting in the sports game.
While in Rome, you know.
Right.
I get it. I
That's
admire
right.
that.
Go dogs.
Speaking of that, I should say go dogs, right, J-Bell?
Yes.
All right,
All
there we
day,
go.
every day.
I know how to roll around here.
All right, folks, so as you know, it's 9 o'clock, and we have a lot of news coming up on 11Alive News Prime Time.
Just days after he was released from Emory, former President Jimmy Carter is back in the hospital tonight.
And a Georgia case goes before the U.S. Supreme Court. Why the state is trying to prevent the laws from going online.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Welcome to 11Alive News Primetime on the ATL. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Aisha Howard. We are also streaming right now. Join us on the 11Alive YouTube channel.
Former President Jimmy Carter is back in the hospital. The Carter Center confirms that he was admitted to Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus over the weekend as he battles a urinary tract infection. President Carter, as you know, is 95 years old. You'll remember he was released from Emory Hospital just last week. He had a successful surgery to relieve a brain bleed caused by several recent falls.
The Carter Center released this statement today saying President Carter is feeling better and looks forward to returning home soon. He had hoped to return to teaching Sunday school at his home church there in Plains, Georgia this Sunday. But according to the Maranatha Baptist Church website, he is not expected to teach on either December 8th nor on December 22nd. We're going to keep you updated on his condition on the 11Alive app.
Well, the City of Atlanta report now shows 19 homeless people have died from hypothermia between January 2017 and 2019.
Very startling numbers here. So the majority, 18 of those, died after Peachtree Pine closed its doors a couple of years ago. Elwin Lopez got a hold of that internal report and joins us from the newsroom.
Yeah, Aisha, and this report was done months ago, was submitted to the Deputy COO's office in April, and yet the city still seems to be struggling to find a solution for this. Now, Peachtree Pine was Atlanta's largest homeless shelter. It closed down in 2017. Now, that closure came after years of politics and lawsuits. It was considered a low-barrier shelter with 800 beds. Now, I spoke to council member Antonio Brown, who was once homeless himself, and he told me today he read the internal report and agrees that more needs to be done to address the issue.
This is bound to happen. This will continue to happen until we can address this problem and come up with a permanent solution around the issue of deaths within homelessness, within hypothermia that homeless folks face every day that they're on the streets in the cold.
And another important thing to point out about this report is that at least one of the deaths occurred as early as the end of October. Now, the report suggesting that outreach to homeless individuals on the likelihood of freezing to death in November is crucial.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers, and we have some really cold air in place right now. Take a look at this. 38 degrees outside. We're at 37 in Duluth, 36 in Carrollton, and these temperatures feel even colder when you factor in the wind. It makes it feel like it's in the 20s right now. So the cold air is in place. We still have some wind out there, but it's not going to be as blustery tonight or as blustery tomorrow. Still just some breezes around, but just not as windy. So look what happens to these temperatures. They will continue to fall. We're at 37 right now. They'll keep moving down to right around the freezing mark early in the morning. I know this shows 33 at 7 o'clock, but I do think in between these hours here, it'll drop to 32 for our official low temperature tomorrow morning. So it is going to be freezing in the morning when many folks head out. We will see dry weather conditions for the next few days and some slow warming, but also a little bit of rain is going to start moving our way. We'll talk more about that when you'll see those rain chances going up in just a few minutes.
Now to another big developing story. Reports tonight that the governor will announce his choice for Georgia's U.S. Senate on Wednesday. Sources say businesswoman Kelly Loeffler is his pick for senior Senator Johnny Isakson's seat. While she may be unknown to voters, Loeffler has been a very active donor to Republican and a few Democratic causes. But Governor Kemp would be appointing her over objections from some hardline Republicans. Doug Richards has more on Loeffler's background.
Her public face is that of an owner of Atlanta's professional women's basketball team.
Kelly Loeffler's political face is backstage in 144 donations listed on the Federal Election Commission's website. More than $600,000 just since the start of last year, almost all of them to Republican causes. After growing up on a family farm in Illinois, Loeffler's career in the financial industry appeared to take off after she got a job at a company called Intercontinental Exchange. Then she married its CEO, Jeff Sprecher. In 2013, Sprecher's company bought the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. Wallmine.com now lists Sprecher's net worth at least $500 million, which means, as a politician, his wife Loeffler may have the means to finance a statewide election.
If you can kickstart your own campaign by putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, then you're one step ahead.
Just ask a millionaire candidate turned Senator David Perdue. Kelly Loeffler became co-owner of the WNBA Atlanta Dream. This photo of Loeffler and Democrat Stacey Abrams has been making the rounds because the team reportedly employed Abrams' law firm. And Loeffler's campaign contributions have included Georgia Democrats, Congressman David Scott, former Congressman Jim Marshall, former Congressman John Barrow, plus from Iowa, Democratic former U.S. Senator Tom Harkin.
I don't think it's an ideological thing. I think they look at it as a business transaction.
Former state representative Doug Teeper says wealthy political donors are frequently at least a little bipartisan.
You should not be surprised to see that she gave money to Democrats as well, just like President Trump did for many years.
So today, some conservatives from inside and outside Georgia have been going after Governor Kemp on social media for planning to name Loeffler to that Senate seat. Many others have actually come to his defense as we wait for that formal announcement a little bit later this week, Ron.
Well, the man authorities long believed is responsible for the Atlanta child murders is now staying in prison. Wayne Williams has been called the prime suspect in the killings of 29 children in the late 1970s and early 80s. He is currently serving 2 life sentences for the deaths of 2 adults in 1982, but he has never been tried for any of the child murders. According to a letter on November 20th, the Georgia Board of Pardons and Paroles voted on denying Williams' appeal for parole. The reason given, Williams has served, quote, an insufficient amount of time given the nature and circumstances of his crimes. His next chance for parole will be 2027. You're going to find a lot more on the background on the Atlanta child murders and the recent re-examination of the case on 11alive.com.
Well, he was a former assistant police chief, a deacon, a school board member, a husband, and a father, a pillar in his community. Today, the pews were packed as dozens paid their respects to Almond Turner. Turner gave 45 years to the Covington Police Department, becoming the highest-ranking African-American in the force, retiring as an assistant police chief. Today, loved ones taking a moment to reflect on his legacy.
Let me remind you, yes, he is that fantastic father. Yes, he is that fabulous husband. Yes, Uncle Mike, he is that good of a brother. Yes, he is that good of a grandfather. Yes, he is a good man.
Turner was murdered at a family gathering in Mississippi. His nephew is accused of shooting and killing him, and his nephew is now in jail. Turner leaves behind his wife, 3 kids, and several grandchildren.
All right, straight ahead. The state is trying to keep its laws off the internet, and today this case went before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb is live on Facebook right now taking your weather questions. You can join the conversation right now on his Facebook page. We're going to catch up with him a little bit later after the break.
And don't forget, folks, we are streaming right now on 11Alive's YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. More 11Alive news primetime after the break. All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments from the state of Georgia and from a man who dared to publish Georgia's law books online for free.
The General Assembly told the Supreme Court the state's law books are protected by federal copyright. The defendant argued the law is owned by all of us.
Well, Reveal investigator Brennan Keefe was one of the first to report on this copyright fight in this Reveal investigation.
These are the Georgians who make the law, but do they own it? The General Assembly is suing this man in federal court because he dared to publish all 50 volumes of Georgia law online for free.
America is based on the idea of an informed citizenry because ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you don't know what the law is, you can't obey it, but also you can't change it.
Carl Malamud's publicresource.org is the defendant in the copyright infringement lawsuit filed by the General Assembly.
In America, the law isn't owned by governments, it's owned by the people, because it's the people that give authority to the government to operate. The people own copyright on the law.
These 50 volumes make up the OCGA, the official Code of Georgia annotated. The state's official law books contain all the legislative acts, plus public court cases and attorney general opinions. Lawmakers claim putting those annotations together amounts to a creative work, one the state has copyrighted.
There's only one law in Georgia. It's the official Code of Georgia annotated. Every act in the Georgia Assembly begins an act to amend the official Code of Georgia annotated.
The 11Alive investigators asked to inspect the law books under a measure contained within them, Georgia's Open Records Act. The Legislative Council denied our request, suggesting the law is available at many libraries. We had trouble finding the law at 3 local branches, including the Central Library in Georgia's capital city. There's a set at the Public Law Library directly across from the state capitol, but cameras aren't allowed inside without an order signed by a judge. Atlanta's main library keeps its copies out of sight in a back room, where we had to request special access to photograph the volumes, some 6 years out of date.
It just doesn't make sense in an internet era to say you need to travel 30 miles to the county seat to look at the 50 volumes of paper, and that somehow is making the law accessible to you. It isn't.
The Legislative Council wrote we could purchase the law for $378 like anyone else, but warned us not to publish Georgia laws on 11alive.com. The OCGA is, quote, copyrighted by the state of Georgia and shall not be republished without permission. No such permission is granted here.
That response reflects every attempt we've made to get documents from state legislators. Transparency means we get to see government documents from every agency, from the dog catcher to the governor. But the Legislative Council always replies, your request is denied. A lack of transparency that allows the legislature to do deals under the table, because you and I aren't allowed to see the documents. Were you aware the General Assembly is exempt from the Open Records Act?
I was not, no.
Were you aware that the General Assembly is exempt from the Open Records Act?
I did not know that.
But ask to see any documents from a legislator, and you'll hear from their lawyer, a lawyer you're paying. That's right, your taxes pay the Legislative Council $125,000 a year so he can turn around and deny your request to see the people's records.
What is this about? About transparency, like open records, things like that.
I'd rather not. Part of my concern is I'm a governor's floor leader, and so I don't want to. I want to make sure that I'm answering questions consistent with what the administration would want me to, and since I don't know what the question, if you want to give me the questions, I'll be happy to.
So you want the questions in advance?
Here's how lawmakers avoid questions about their documents. The General Assembly is not an agency under its own Open Records Act. The legislature let itself off on a technicality, one few lawmakers are interested in fixing.
If it ever came up for a vote that the General Assembly would be subject to the Open Records Act, would you be in favor of that?
I just have to look at the legislation. You know, the devil is in the details. If you'll just give me the...
Just want to ask you about transparency in general.
If you want to give me the topic matter, I'll be glad to. Unfortunately, I got to run in here as well.
Ought there to be full transparency, especially when it comes to the people who elected you?
You know, I think you got a fine line there. I don't have an easy answer for that.
Neither does the Legislative Council. All communications between this office and lawmakers records are confidential by state law.
Exactly what you're taking a picture for.
This is a public building, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they saw our cameras, Legislative Council staff was sure to draw the blinds to prevent the public from seeing the keeper and defender of the legislature's secrets.
It's the people that own the law. And it's the people that own the legislature. We are all servants of the people when we are in public service, and we just can't forget that.
Brendan and 11Alive filed a friend of the court brief with the U.S. Supreme Court, arguing that the law is not as accessible as the state of Georgia claims it is. The Supreme Court is expected to make a ruling in this case by the spring.
Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. I know this may look a little bit different to you tonight because you're probably thinking, why is this phone sticking up in the middle of the camera? Well, that's because right now, during the newscast, I'm also doing a Facebook Live, and I'm sitting here talking with some of our viewers, like Kenny Edmondson saying hello from Milner. We also have Melissa Sabarin saying, Chris, are we going to get any snow? Patty Timmons says, looking awesome, Chris. Adrienne Palmetier says, grew up in the Maritimes, cool. Melissa says, keep the snow to the north. And then Dale Klaus is saying hello as well. So I'm doing a Facebook Live at the same time that I'm on with you. So feel free to go to my Facebook page if you have any questions for me. And when I get finished with this weather forecast here, I'll go back to Facebook Live to answer any of your questions that you have going on. So let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. Here's a look at radar where we do not have any rain in our area right now. It is very dry. And if you want to find any precip, you have to go way up to the north. That's where we have that precip that is up to the north and to the east. You can see up near New York, they're dealing with snow today. They've had snow up in the Boston area. Mid-Atlantic region has some rain, a little bit of that snow back in parts of West Virginia as well. We don't have any of that going on here, but we have plenty of cold air in place. We're in the upper 30s right now. 38 degrees is our temperature right now in Atlanta. 37 in Duluth and in Athens, 36 in Carrollton. Still a couple of 40s out there, like in Peachtree City, it's 41. Rome is at 40 degrees. But if you've been outside, you know it feels a lot colder because we still have the wind. We have winds right now at making it feel like it's 28 degrees. It feels like freezing in Athens, feels like 27 in Duluth. So with that wind, it makes it feel a lot colder. And we've had a lot of questions on my Facebook Live that I'm doing right now. One of the questions is, Chris, when is this wind going to die down? Still pretty windy out there right now. We have winds in Atlanta at 20 miles an hour, 14-mile-an-hour winds in Peachtree City, and also in Duluth. Here's a look at the wind forecast. Now, we talk about sustained winds, which is what we're showing here, which tonight, excuse me, will be about 10 to 15 miles an hour, and toward tomorrow morning as well. And the gusts will be a little bit higher than that. But then during the day, we're going to see those winds come down just a little bit. Not as blustery as it was today. Today's peak wind gust was 33 miles an hour. I don't think we'll have winds that strong tomorrow, but we'll just call it breezy during the day tomorrow. And then the temperatures will be cold. We're going to go from those mid-30s down into the lower 30s here by tomorrow morning. I really think that most of us will wake up to temperatures that'll be around the freezing mark. Then we get up to 51 in the afternoon. We'll give that a 9 on the wasometer. Now, here's a look at that 7-day outlook. We're going to watch those temperatures as they go up during the day to about 51 degrees. We'll be at 58 on Wednesday, 61 on Thursday with mostly sunny skies. So Wednesday and Thursday, the best days of the week, those will be 10s on the wasometer. Then on Friday for the Canathon, we will have a few showers around. It is not going to be a washout. Still come out to the Canathon, just a few showers here and there. Dry Saturday, and then the daytime hours on Sunday will be dry with a chance for rain late Sunday, and then into Monday we'll have some of those showers with high temperatures near 64 degrees. I'm going to get back to my Facebook Live now and answer some of those questions.
All right, so 2020 is coming up so fast. Maybe you're looking to buy a new car. A local expert has some pro tips that could help you get a new ride at the fraction of the cost.
Hi, I'm Faye Sykes. And here are a few pro tips in not overpaying for a car. Tip number 1, flexibility. When you're looking at buying a car, a lot of times it's actually better to buy a brand new car to have more flexibility in the cost. With a used car, they already have a set price that's already established. With a brand new car, there might be dealer incentives, dealer rebates. Tip number 2, getting the most with your credit. If you have not so great credit, if you purchase a brand new car, you might get a much better interest rate than with a used car. With a used car, you're typically going to be paying 3 to 10% more. Tip number 3, researching the underlying costs. You know, a lot of times people look at the cost of the particular car, but they do not take into consideration the cost of insurance, the cost of the mechanics, and the cost of gas. A lot of people might not realize that a Mercedes oil change might be $160 to $180, where a regular oil change might be $30 or $40. Tip number 4, online versus on the lot. Let's say that you've done your due diligence, you figured out what kind of car that you want. You can actually go on to like cars.com or Auto Trader, and it'll actually get emailed out to multiple dealerships on your behalf, and then they in turn come back and fight over you to make you a client. I've actually purchased 2 cars this way. So I bought a Hyundai Santa Fe, and the owner came out really grumpy because I did my homework ahead of time, spoke to multiple dealerships, and I knew I was gonna get the best price. He's like, I didn't make any money. He goes, you better go enjoy.
You can check out more pro tips by going to youtube.com/11alive.
I don't understand why you're walking around this neighborhood.
This is crazy.
With a bunch of packages.
Just trying to do his job. A man says he was harassed while dropping off packages in an Atlanta neighborhood.
And we're just 4 days away from the 11Alive Can-a-thon. Each year, as you know, we team up with the Salvation Army to help raise money for Georgia families in need by collecting canned food. And you can help us out this Friday. Come visit Aisha and I. We're going to be at Cumberland Mall, and we would love to talk to you, love to chat with you. Just go to 11alive.com/can-a-thon for a list of all those locations.
Package Patty is trending online after an alleged case of racial profiling that reportedly happened somewhere in Atlanta. A man identifying himself as a UPS employee shared video of what happened online. It shows the woman demanding his name because she says he looks suspicious walking around with packages on her street. Jennifer Bellamy has what we've been all trying to verify and what we have so far.
Because I don't understand why you're walking around this neighborhood.
This is crazy.
With a bunch of packages.
A black man delivering packages in Atlanta says he was stopped by a woman who said he looked suspicious.
I don't want to complain to UPS that you're looking very suspicious and making me nervous.
So far, that woman has not been identified, so we've blurred her face. But in videos posted online, the man says he works for UPS and shows what looks like a company uniform and a dolly with several packages. In the video, the woman explains her actions, telling the man her car had been broken into twice and that there had been vandalism on the street. She asks for his name, but he refuses, saying this is an example of people bothering him on the job. He says the woman was recording him and taking pictures as well. You can hear the woman in the video says she'll follow him until she gets in touch with UPS and later claims she'd called the police. A different clip later shows a white man also dressed as a UPS employee who tries to explain to the woman that the man recording is a fellow UPS worker. We reached out to UPS and a spokesperson sent us a short statement saying we are aware of the video and are investigating the incident. We'll defer comment until we are able to talk with the involved parties.
And we reached out to the man involved. He told us he didn't want to do an interview. We'll keep you updated when we learn anything more about what happened.
Up next,
we are her parents.
A Georgia gay couple fights to prevent their baby from deportation. The parents are U.S. citizens, but the State Department says their daughter is not.
And I said, well, we're both the real fathers. If what you're asking is which one of us, had the sperm that created her, the answer is this one.
That was crushing. It was very upsetting.
A reveal investigation coming up on Primetime on WATL.
Right now, folks, we're following some breaking news. This is out of Rockdale County, where a welfare check leads to a gruesome discovery. So this is what we know so far. The sheriff's office says that 3 people were found dead in the 4000 block of Sweetwater Lane. That's just south of Interstate 20 in Conyers. We don't know how they died or if deputies are looking for anyone right now. Just download the 11Alive News app for updates. And we'll also have updates on our sister station at 11 o'clock on Up Late.
News tonight, Atlanta City Council voted to ban single-use plastic bags and utensils in city buildings. That includes the world's busiest airport. Elwin Lopez was at City Council meeting tonight.
Yeah, Aisha, that means we might be seeing a lot more paper straws in our future here, whether you like them or not. Now, Council member Amir Faroqi spearheaded the legislation and argued that city buildings are major consumers of these harmful products. Faroqi says this is a major step forward for Atlanta, but feels there's still room for improvement here. The council member told us previously that before asking private companies to make changes, it first had to start with the city. The legislation passed unanimously today with 11 co-sponsors, and it will go to Mayor Bonham's desk. If she signs it, the ban will go into effect in December of next year.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. And, you know, it's nice and dry out there right now, but it's really cold. Temperatures are in the 30s, but with the wind, it makes it feel like it is in the 20s. And we actually had some snow flurries over parts of extreme North Georgia early this morning, just a light dusting in some of those higher elevations. And that was all connected to what you're seeing that's taking place up in the north and east. And I'm showing you this tonight because that wraparound moisture is what brought down a few of those flurries into, or as far south as North Georgia. That's now still bringing that snow and rain into parts of the northeast. And, you know, we've been showing you the delays here over the Thanksgiving holiday because it was such a busy travel time. But I want to show these to you again tonight because I know that those destinations up to the north and east are ones that are very popular for folks here in the Atlanta area. So as you can see here, we have still some delays in Newark. Earlier, they were in JFK and LaGuardia up in New York, but now they're showing no delays there. We still have some delays in Boston. Philadelphia is better now. They had delays earlier too, so hopefully things are beginning to improve there in the north and east. Here's what we're watching for the rest of the night. It's getting colder. Temperatures will be down to freezing in the morning. We'll still have some breezes tomorrow, but not as windy as it was today or yesterday, and warmer weather is coming up for later on this week. We'll talk about that and when you'll see the rain chances moving up in just a few minutes.
All right, let's get into some other stories in our speed feed tonight. Police say they were forced to shoot after a man pointed a gun at them during a fight with a woman. Officers shot and killed 68-year-old Jimmy Phillips last night at a home on Katy Lane in Morrow. Clayton County Police say when they got there, a woman and 2 teens were trying to leave, but Phillips wouldn't let them out. They say Phillips pointed a weapon at officers, and that's when officers fired. Police say they've been called out to that home before. Most recently in August, the 2 officers involved are on routine administrative leave. An embattled sheriff is out, and now a new leader is stepping in, and she is making history. Melody Maddox is taking over as DeKalb County Sheriff. She was sworn in last night and becomes the county's 50th sheriff and the first woman to hold the position. Jeffrey Mann retired as sheriff last year after fighting some controversy. You may recall in 2017, he was charged with exposing himself to an Atlanta police officer in Piedmont Park. Mann took a plea deal and had been appealing the decision to revoke his law enforcement certification. A judge was supposed to hear the case next week. Senator Johnny Isakson is expected to say goodbye to Congress tomorrow afternoon. The senator is retiring as he continues to battle Parkinson's disease. He is the only elected official to serve on the Georgia House, the Georgia Senate, and the United States House and Senate.
Hello and welcome to the Review on Primetime. I'm investigator Andy Perotti. A Review investigation has uncovered a Georgia couple's 1-year-old daughter faces deportation because the State Department does not consider her a U.S. citizen. Both of her parents are Americans. This past July, the couple filed a lawsuit claiming a U.S. government policy discriminates against children who were born to gay parents.
She's such a joy. She's so curious. She's so smart.
When Derek Mize and Johnny Gregg first met, this is how they pictured their future together, raising a child of their own.
I'd seen Derek with kids. I knew how good he was with them. And when he said that he wanted them, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Of course we should have children.
I felt, even though I was gay and it might look a little different, I still just knew in my heart that I was going to figure out a way.
They did figure out a way, and it started in 2017, 4,000 miles away in London, with a longtime friend who agreed to be a surrogate to carry their child. An anonymous donor supplied the egg. Johnny's sperm fertilized the embryo. 9 months later, they were all in the delivery room together.
Things that just kept going through my mind is, I'm going to meet you now and I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Moments later, they met their daughter, Simone Mize Gregg, born June 2018.
There's nothing, I mean, I know it's cliche, but there is nothing like the feeling of a baby that was just born on your chest. A, B, C.
More than a year later, instead of focusing on Simone's next milestone, they're now fighting to keep her from deportation. While both her fathers are U.S. citizens, the State Department does not recognize her as an American because the father with the biological tie, that's Johnny, did not live in the U.S. for the required amount of time prior to Simone's birth. It completely discounts Derek as a parent, who is also listed on the birth certificate. The U.S. Consulate's office in London told them just before they boarded a flight back to Georgia.
And she took a deep breath and she said, I'm really so sorry to tell you that we will not be able to give you a passport because Simone is not a U.S. citizen. And my heart went to the floor.
That was crushing. It was very upsetting.
Last month, the couple filed a lawsuit against the State Department and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, claiming the agency's interpretation of its policy unlawfully discriminates against children simply because their parents are same-sex. The suit also explains the agency wrongfully applies a section of the law related to unmarried parents, writing, in doing so, State Department officials failed to acknowledge the validity of Mr. Mize and Mr. Gregg's marriage, deemed Simone to have been born out of wedlock, and treated Mr. Mize as if he were not Simone's father. The State Department declined to discuss the litigation.
It's important for her to be a U.S. citizen because we're U.S. citizens, and this is where her home is.
Since 2018, 2 other same-sex couples have filed lawsuits against the State Department. It happened to Allison and Stephanie's son, Lucas.
The government saying, no, you're not his mother, it makes me feel, again, rejected. All the things I felt from the U.S.
And again to Andrew and Elad's son, Ethan.
When the twins were born, it was almost like something out of a storybook.
The couple has twin boys, Ethan and Aiden, conceived by a surrogate out of the country. The State Department believes only Aiden is a citizen, not his twin brother Ethan, because the sperm used to create his embryo is from his Israeli-born father.
If we were a straight couple, and I was an Israeli woman, and both of our names were on both kids' birth certificates, would you ever require us to perform a DNA test?
This past February, a federal judge sided with the couple, calling the State Department's policy unconstitutional and unlawful, ruling that Ethan is a United States citizen. Despite the judge's decision, the U.S. government has yet to recognize Lucas or Simone as Americans.
They are denying the fact, however, that this child is an American citizen.
Representative Hank Johnson is one of about 100 members of Congress who signed a letter this past June demanding the State Department change its discriminatory and cruel policy. Derek and Johnny live in Johnson's district.
It's a clear case of equal protection under the law that is being denied to this same-sex couple with respect to their daughter.
Happy birthday! Earlier this summer, Derek and Johnny celebrated their daughter's first birthday in Decatur, Georgia, just before her tourism visa expired, making the only home Simone's ever known a foreign country.
If you could say anything to Secretary Pompeo, what would you say?
I would invite him over for dinner, to be honest, and have them ask us questions that they may have, you know, to figure out what our lives are like. Let's talk about what it means to be a family in America, because we're not that different.
Last month, the State Department filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, and a judge could issue his ruling soon. In the meantime, while the lawsuit is pending, Simone's fathers plan to keep her in Georgia. We'll let you know what happens.
All right, thanks a lot, Andy. By the way, folks, you can see more in-depth investigations like this one by going to our website, 11alive.com. And don't forget The Reveal, the only local investigative show in the country, airs Sunday at 6 p.m.
A man with a gun jumps in a woman's car near a busy shopping center. What police think he was trying to do.
And folks, don't forget, we're streaming live right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. More 11Alive news primetime after the break.
Police want you to be on alert after a woman says an armed man tried to abduct her near a busy shopping center. DeKalb County officers are still looking for this guy tonight. Joe Henke walks us through what the woman says happened.
The victim in this story says last week she picked up food to go from a restaurant near Decatur. She then walked out of the restaurant and got back into her car. That's when, according to a DeKalb County police report, a man jumped in the passenger seat of the woman's car. He pointed a gun at her, started making demands.
The woman told police it happened outside of Bad Daddy's Burger Bar off Church Street in a busy shopping center parking lot across the street from Emory Decatur Hospital. The woman says she left Bad Daddy's shortly after 9 p.m. last Monday. In her police report, she described the man as pointing a black rifle at her and saying, "Drive, drive." The woman quickly jumped out of her car, dropped her phone while running, and asked someone to call 911 as the man drove off in another car. Captain A.W. Ford with DeKalb County Police says the crime stands out.
No, this is a very isolated incident. Reports we have that the smell was
probably intoxicated. We've got no similar crimes. We have no similar abductions. We have no stranger-to-stranger kidnapping.
The woman could only give a vague description of the man who attacked her and remembered him driving off in a gray four-door car. A local news website reported a second similar incident at another nearby shopping center, but police believe that second incident was not an attempted abduction.
About 20 minutes later, he was about half a mile up the road. A person we believe to be the same suspect was a half a mile up the road, asked someone to roll down their window. When they rolled down their window slightly, he asked to borrow a cell phone.
Tonight, DeKalb police are still searching the area for security video of the attacker and asking holiday shoppers to be aware in busy parking lots.
Pay attention to your surroundings, know who's around you, and let someone, a family member or friend, know where you're at.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. We had some really cold air out there today. Afternoon temperatures only made it up into the mid-40s today, but it felt even colder because we had this pretty brisk northwest wind that was with us today. Our peak wind gusts got up to 33 miles an hour today. Yesterday's peak wind was 40, so it went down a little bit today, and I think it's going to go down a little bit more during the day tomorrow. Still breezy tomorrow, just not as blustery as it was today. And look at this cold core of air. That is what is impacting a lot of people coming out of the Midwest and going into the Northeast. There's moisture mixing in with that, and that's where they've been dealing with some snow. Look what happens, though. This cold air retreats up to the north, and we'll begin to see our temperatures slowly moderating over the next few days, or slowly warming up. We'll eventually get back into the lower 60s here once we get toward the end of the week. But look at these temperatures today. Our high temperature actually occurred just after midnight when it was 48 degrees. This morning, we got down into those lower 40s, and then we pretty much held in the mid 40s today. The afternoon high in between these hourlies here got up to 45 degrees briefly, and then we've been in those lower 40s ever since then, and then now, after the sun went down, we moved into the upper 30s, and we're pretty much going to hold in the upper 30s, mid 30s for the next couple of hours, and then move down to around 32 degrees here for tomorrow morning. Right now we're 38. We have 40 in Rome, 39 in Dalton, freezing temperatures already in Clayton and in Blairsville. And of course, these temperatures feel colder with the wind. It makes it feel like it's in the 20s. Here's a look at that wind chill. Feeling like 28 here in town, feeling like it's 29 in Carrollton. 28 is the wind chill in the Canton and Gainesville area. Duluth right now, it feels like it's 27. Here's what we're watching while you are sleeping tonight. These temperatures go down a few more degrees. I do think that right around sunrise tomorrow, that'll be our coldest part of the day, where we get down to around 32. I know this says 33, but I think in between these time frames here, between 5, 7, and 9, in between that, it's going to dip down to 32 degrees for our low temperature. So here's what we're watching on the wazometer. This is our scale from 1 to 11. Where an 11 is a perfect day, going with a 9. Lows in the morning around 32 to start. That's going to be colder than what we should be for this time of year. Then getting up to 51 in the afternoon. Warmer than it was today, but that's still below the average. So here's what we're watching. See this blue line right here? That is the freezing line. Watch how overnight that sags all the way down to the south. Just about everybody will be around freezing early in the morning to start your day, and with that wind, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s. The freezing temperatures disappear. Then we'll see temperatures that will be slowly moderating during the day. Excuse me, eventually getting up to 51 in the afternoon. We'll have just a couple of clouds that start to move in during the afternoon hours, mixing in with the sunshine, but those clouds won't have any rain in association with them. Wednesday morning, it's going to be mostly sunny. I don't think we'll hit freezing Wednesday morning. We get down to around 37, 38 degrees. And then during the day, Wednesday, mostly sunny. And each and every day, when you see the 7-day outlook, you'll notice those temperatures coming up a little bit more. 58 on Wednesday, 61 on Thursday. Then on Friday, we have the 11Alive Holiday Canathon, and we're going to see a few showers around. It's not going to be a washout. There will be a lot of dry hours during the day. Temperatures near 57. Then 54 Saturday with dry weather. And then Sunday, the daytime hours will stay dry. The showers come in later on Sunday and then persist into Monday, with warmer air Monday getting back up to the mid-60s.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. You know, this is the game we've all been waiting for all season long. Georgia taking on LSU, those Tigers, in the SEC Championship on Saturday. Maria Martin up there in Athens, and let us know that this may be the biggest fight for the Dogs in quite some time.
It's SEC Championship week in Atlanta, and you know it is a big game when head coach Kirby Smart says that this will be one of the most challenging games that he has played since being the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, on to the big one.
So the Dogs are finally getting their shot on LSU.
Explosive as a team. as I have probably ever watched on tape.
But it may take everything they've got to take down the Tigers in the SEC championship.
No such thing as a perfect game. Nobody will ever play it, but what they did last week on A&M was pretty incredible.
So if you remember last year when these two teams met up, Georgia got embarrassed. They lost by 20 points.
It left a real sour taste in our mouth.
I'm 0-1 against them, so definitely don't want to be 0-2.
Fake field goals gone wrong and a dismal offensive showing. There's very little to take away from what happened in that game.
You always watch it. They hurt us with some things last year. Some of the things they hurt us with last year, they still do.
As we know, Kirby's never afraid to pull out those trick plays in big games, although he hasn't really had much success.
If I get an opportunity to steal a possession because I think someone's unsound or not ready for something, then you try to give your kids a chance to win.
UGA will likely unveil several new plays made very special for those Bayou Bengals.
I know we have a lot of plays, a lot of plays we have yet to run.
And executing new offensive plays may be just the ticket, considering they'll have no Lawrence Cager and no George Pickens until the second half. And as for the Dogs' leading rusher, Deandre Swift, he got banged up in the game at Georgia Tech, but good news is head coach Kirby Smart said he does expect him to be able to play against LSU on Saturday.
All right, thanks, Maria. Hey, the Fox Theater in Atlanta is celebrating 90 years of live entertainment. Today, the Atlanta City Council honored the theater's history and its importance in the arts community. The theater attracts more than 500,000 people each year.
And there's a lot of attention on that theater today because a big ticket went on sale this morning. Hamilton is once again coming to the Fox Theater for the 2019-2020 season. The hugely popular musical about one of our founding fathers is a hot ticket pretty much anywhere on the planet. Atlanta is no exception. And there are warnings on the Fox website saying that you need to buy those tickets as soon as possible because they're going pretty quickly. And we just checked, and it looks like there's still a lot more available as we speak. We'll be right back. All right, you got to see this. More than 1 million pounds of snow, and some of the best athletes on the planet are on their way to SunTrust Park. Construction started today in this 15-story steel slope inside the park, the ballpark here, for a big air event. The Braves are partnering up now with the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Association to bring champion snowboarders and free skiers to SunTrust Park. Olympians and the best of Team USA will show their tricks and their jumps. The temporary winter wonderland will have 800 tons of snow, and that's 10 times the weight of the space shuttle. And Big Air opens up December 20th and 21st.
I guess that's really convenient. We're welcoming in the fake snow, Chris, with some
Exactly.
lower temperatures.
As we cool down, that's right. We're down to freezing in the morning at 32 with a high of 51. But then we do warm up a little bit to 58 Wednesday, 61 Thursday, Friday, not a washout for the Canathon. There'll just be a few scattered showers around. Dry for Saturday, then rain chances late Sunday into Monday. But by then, Monday, we're back up to the mid-60s.
All right, well, Ron and I, we're going to see you back on our sister station, 11Alive at 11 p.m. But hang on, Primetime still going down at 10 o'clock.
The Fox Theater in Atlanta celebrating 90 years of live entertainment. Today, the Atlanta City Council honored the theater's history and its importance in the arts community. The theater attracts more than 500,000 people each year, and that is a big accomplishment. There is a lot of attention on the theater today because a big ticket went on sale this morning. Hamilton is once again coming to the Fox Theater for the 2019-2020 season. The popular musical is about one of our founding fathers. Is a hot ticket everywhere in America. There are warnings all over the Fox's website saying to buy your tickets soon because they're going fast, and it looks like there are still plenty available right now. 2020 is coming up very quickly, and maybe you are looking to buy a new car. We all want to buy a new car, right? Those prices are a little too much, but a local expert has some pro tips that could help you get a new ride at a fraction of the cost.
Hi, I'm Faye Sykes. And here are a few pro tips in not overpaying for a car. Tip number 1, flexibility. When you're looking at buying a car, a lot of times it's actually better to buy a brand new car to have more flexibility in the cost. With a used car, they already have a set price that's already established. But with a brand new car, there might be dealer incentives, dealer rebates. Tip number 2, getting the most with your credit. If you have not so great credit, if you purchase a brand new car, you might get a much better interest rate than with a used car. With a used car, you're typically going to be paying 3 to 10% more. Tip number 3, researching the underlying costs. You know, a lot of times people look at the cost of the particular car, but they do not take into consideration the cost of insurance, the cost of the mechanics, and the cost of gas. A lot of people might not realize that a Mercedes oil change might be $160 to $180, where a regular oil change might be $30 or $40. Tip number 4, online versus on the lot. Let's say that you've done your due diligence, you figured out what kind of car that you want. You can actually go on to like cars.com or AutoTrader, and it'll actually get emailed out to multiple dealerships on your behalf, and then they in turn come back and fight over you to make you a client. I've actually purchased 2 cars this way. So I bought a Hyundai Santa Fe, and the owner came out really grumpy because I did my homework ahead of time, spoke to multiple dealerships, and I knew I was gonna get the best price. He's like, I didn't make any money. He goes, you better go enjoy.
You can check out more pro tips by going to youtube.com/11Alive.
The country's first major storm of the season pounding several states. Heavy snow and icy rain last night. 10,000 flights canceled. Another 1,000 were delayed. Yesterday, a Delta jet slid off the runway in Buffalo. Nobody was hurt. At last check, FlightAware reports that Hartsfield-Jackson had to cancel 6 flights with over 150 delays today.
And we're watching that system up to the north, and we were on the southern edges of that. That's why parts of extreme north Georgia picked up a couple of flurries early this morning. And that's also what kept us really cold on the back side of that system, the cold air funneling down into the southeast. We only got up to 48 degrees for a high temperature today, and that was actually just after midnight. Our afternoon highest temperature was around 45, but 45 or 48, you can see that's well below the average. We should be at 58 this time of year. And our low so far today has been the current temperature. Actually, 37 is the current temperature, and that's the low so far for today. We need some rain. We haven't gotten any rain today. Our deficit is now rising. We're now about 7.5 inches below where we should be in rainfall for the year. It's really cold out there and dry. We're not going to get any rain tonight. That's going to come at the end of the week. You can see 38 temperature right now, 36 in Duluth. We do have freezing temperatures at this hour up in Blairsville. And there's still some wind out there, not as strong as it was earlier, but enough wind to give us a wind chill. Makes it feel like it's 30 degrees here in Atlanta. We have wind chills in Carrollton, Marietta, Duluth, Covington, Canton, Gainesville, Blairsville, and Clayton that make it feel like it is in the 20s. So it's really chilly out there. And we're going to see the actual air temperatures falling through the 30s as we go through the overnight hours. And toward tomorrow morning, In between these hourlies here, I do think it's going to get down to 32 degrees for an official low here in Atlanta. So I do think we'll hit the freezing mark. And then temperatures start rising. They'll be slow to rise, but it will be a little warmer tomorrow afternoon than what we had out there for today. So here's the headlines. We will be colder overnight tonight. We get down to 32 degrees in the morning, whereas this morning we were only in the lower 40s. It's also not going to be as windy. Still some breezes out there, just not as blustery as it's been the past couple of days. Yesterday's peak wind was 40 miles an hour. Today's peak wind was 33 miles an hour. And I think that peak wind tomorrow will be a little bit lower as well. And then we have warmer air after we get through tomorrow morning. When we get down to freezing, we do have some warmer air that will be coming in as we go into the end of the week. Tomorrow's high, 51, mixture of sunshine and clouds. On our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 9. Not a bad day. A lot of sunshine, a few clouds around, and temperatures just trending below where we should be for this time of year. Here's a look at the forecast track. There goes that freezing line down to the south for the morning hours, but then we all get back above freezing pretty quickly tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, just mixing in with a few clouds, but no rain in our area until we get into Friday. And even that is not going to be an all-day rain event. We're just talking about some scattered showers. So we see the temperatures warming up. 51 tomorrow, then 58 Wednesday, lower 60s on Thursday, 57 on Friday with more clouds and a few of those showers around, but not raining all day. Saturday is dry. The daytime hours on Sunday will be dry. It's going to be late Sunday when we see some showers, and then those will persist into Monday, but temperatures warming back up to 64 by the beginning of next week.
All right, sports on this Monday night. It is the game that we have all been waiting for all season long. Georgia will take on LSU in the SEC championship game on Saturday. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, downtown Atlanta. What a great week it is going to be. Maria Martin in Athens, and she tells us how this may be the biggest fight for the Dogs in quite some time. Here goes.
It's SEC Championship week in Atlanta, and you know it is a big game when head coach Kirby Smart says that this will be one of the most challenging games that he has played since being the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, on to the big one.
So the Dogs are finally getting their shot at LSU.
Explosive as a team as I have probably ever watched on tape.
But it may take everything they've got to take down the Tigers in the SEC Championship.
No such thing as a perfect game. Nobody will ever play it, but what they did last week on A&M was pretty incredible.
So if you remember last year when these two teams met up, Georgia got embarrassed. They lost by 20 points.
It left a real sour taste in our mouth.
I'm 0-1 against them, so definitely don't want to be 0-2.
Fake field goals gone wrong and a dismal offensive showing. There's very little to take away from what happened in that game.
You always watch it. They hurt us with some things last year. Some of the things they hurt us with last year, they still do.
As we know, Kirby's never afraid to pull out those trick plays in big games, although he hasn't really had much success.
If I get an opportunity to steal a possession because I think someone's unsound or not ready for something, then you try to give your kids a chance to win.
UGA will likely unveil several new plays made very special for those Bayou Bengals.
I know we have a lot of plays, a lot of plays we have yet to run.
And executing new offensive plays may be just the ticket, considering they'll have no Lawrence Cager and no George Pickens until the second half. And as for the Dogs' leading rusher, Deandre Swift, he got banged up in the game at Georgia Tech, but good news is head coach Kirby Smart said he does expect him to be able to play against LSU on Saturday. So to quote Kirby Smart, he said, on to the big one, the SEC championship this week. Roddy Nabolsi alongside me, and this is the big one. LSU is perhaps the best team that Georgia has faced to this point, the most complete team, I would say. What does Georgia need to do on Saturday?
Hope Joe Burrow gets food poisoning would be a good start. Maybe the flu, nothing too drastic, nothing too bad, but something to keep him out of, keep him in the hotel room for about 48 hours. Now, what they need to do is they need to get a couple wide receivers to step up. Georgia's offense has to score. Whoever scores touchdowns, not field goals, is going to win this game.
And whoever doesn't make mistakes, too, I think will be a key in this one. One thing that's really important for Georgia is they've got so many issues on offense in terms of suspensions and guys that are out. They have to get creative on Saturday. How confident are we that they'll be able to mix some new guys in there?
It's actually been one of the theories all year long is that Georgia's holding back. Georgia's holding back until the big game. Well, if Georgia had it, they'd have used it against Texas A&M, they used it against Florida. I'm not saying they don't. They do have some things. People that think that James Coley is predictable, that's garbage. He's not predictable because he can run any sort of thing you want. What they've done in the last 3 or 4 games, we've seen new plays. We've seen new schemes. We've seen new personnel groupings. What we haven't seen is execution of those new concepts.
Roddy, thank you so much.
All right, guys, thank you. This tweet took the college football world by storm, reporting that Mike Leach was hired at Ole Miss. It looks like it's from a credible reporter, but wait, there are two accounts. Put them side by side. They look really similar. Turns out the account on the right used a capital I instead of an L in Rebel to make it look the same. So it is a fake account. Unfortunately, not true, just fake news. Leach to the SEC would have been fun. It would have been fun. That's it for sports. We'll take a break. We're back right after.
I'm sorry, what was the total time? Yeah, let's just say goodbye. No weather, we only have 15 seconds.
Got
it. If you want to, I'll start off and just say it's going to be cold.
Absolutely.
But I'm not gonna. Okay. But I won't take it full. It's going to be, every night it's going to get really draining.
Yeah, I'm going to watch what I eat so I don't have any acid reflux. Okay. Okay. Chris is going to pick it up.
In the afternoon.
That's how we went December, for goodness sake.
That's right. It's supposed to be cold, right?
That's it. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Man, the holidays are coming.